How to Fake Confidence by Lizzie Lund. That's kind of got a ring to it. Maybe I should write a book. No, I shouldn't. So I talk about having confidence a lot when you are around horses, riding bareback, all of the above, training horses. And I realized that the word confidence might have a different meaning for different people. So I want to talk about what confidence means to me. So the reason I say that you need confidence when you are around horses is because horses don't feel safe or secure around somebody who is insecure in themselves and unaware of their surroundings and is even afraid of the horse. You could say confidence is like, you could swing the pendulum and say the confidence is way over here where you can boss around the horse, you're not afraid of getting kicked, you're perfectly fine with causing a situation that might go chaotic. But I think to me confidence is in the middle, where you're not spooking at everything, you're not having the jitters and jumping every single time the horse moves quickly or unexpectedly, you're not ducking and taking cover and being a victim and saying don't hurt me and screaming at every little movement that the horse does at you or whatever. So I was thinking about a way that I could explain confidence in a way that is understandable, because I have a hard time explaining myself apparently. But say you are in a car with a fearful, unconfident person. You as a passenger are going to feel way more uncomfortable and uneasy, and you're going to feel like you need to take charge and start being a backseat driver to help this person get through this heavy traffic, because they are not confident. They are just acting afraid of every scenario, even though they could be perfectly capable of handling that heavy traffic, but they're just acting afraid, which makes you afraid and feel like you have to step in and do something. But if the driver was a very confident person and was handling the situation as if they've been in it a million times, they can predict the movements of every other vehicle around them and they flow with traffic easily, you're going to feel confident and cool, like you can go on your phone, you don't even have to pay attention because they got it under control. And then the third situation is if you're with a person that is overly confident and has to prove something with their driving, they have to be aggressive and cut people off and honk their horn and just have all this tension and energy because they think that they're better than everybody else on the road. And that is also going to make the passenger feel very uncomfortable and like there's probably going to be an accident because this person is not aware of everybody else around them. So I thought that would just help with like clearing up what I think is confidence versus fearful, unconfident, and aggressively overly confident. You can kind of already see how those situations would play out with a horse. If you are fearful of everything and jumping at every movement that the horse makes and you are being the spooky partner, then they are going to feel like they need to take charge and they won't feel any confidence being with you. They are just going to get more nervous being around with your nervous energy, and they're going to feel perfectly comfortable running into you if they have to, because they know you don't have any wolves up and you are just going to be in their way if they have to escape from a scary scenario because they feel something bad is going to happen with your tension and your fearful energy.
Future Lizzie coming in here with a few more points. The lead mare doesn't let the insecure horse lead the pack.
And I feel like horses act similarly to a aggressive, overly confident trainer as they would with a fearful one, because they are not giving them confidence. They are making the horse feel uneasy with all of the pressure and not allowing the horse enough time to think about or figure out what they're asking. And the same with a fearful person. A overly confident, aggressive trainer person won't really be aware of all of the surroundings. They won't be hyperly sensitive to the horse's body language and cues, and they'll be putting themselves in scenarios that are likely to go badly because honestly, I think that aggressive trainers who think that they're confident but it's just in the wrong way, I think it's also an ego problem because they have something to prove. They have to prove themselves to the horse. They have to be the top dog. So there's a lot of ways where that situation can go poorly. So now to what I think a confident person is somebody who is calm, collected, confident where they stand. They are very aware of all of their surroundings. They're fully in tune with the body language and the cues around the horses. They're basically like Dr. Strange. Able to foresee the future before it happens, because we can see a scenario and be like, if I add a lot of pressure to this horse right now, the way they are uptight and nervous, they are going to rear up and explode, bolt or buck or bite or something bad. So this horse obviously needs to have a different approach taken, or just needs more time. It's just about being aware of the horses around you. Once you're able to understand and read the horse's body languages fluently, then you're going to be more confident about being around them, because you are aware that bad things aren't about to just happen to you. And if you see something that could potentially be dangerous or bad, if you're in a herd or something, then you make sure that the horses know that you have your space and that they stay away from you, or you just let them have their space and figure out their things. So I got Stella here. My first time walking over to the tarp. She's very dirty and muddy, and she's also very sweaty because she was just racing around their pen getting at some spring fever. The reason I brought her out is because, well, I was hoping she'd be a little bit more scared of it. Because I wanted to kind of demonstrate how fearful people and aggressive, overly confident people and confident people handle a situation where a horse doesn't want to do something. So I guess we have to pretend that she doesn't want to go over this tarp. So Stella, can we pretend? Can we pretend that you don't want to go over it? Good job. How do we pretend that you don't want to go over it? Come here. Okay, so this is how I think a fearful, unconfident person would try to get a horse that was scared of the tarp to go over this tarp. I think they would first, well, the horse would be scared of it and spooking, and the person would be very jumpy, out of their way, afraid to ask. And usually a fearful, unconfident person is a nag, and horses hate nags. And the horse sees the person as the way out. So they are going to jump through you to try to get out of that scenario, because you are the one putting the pressure on them, and they know they can run through you, and that just takes care of their problem to get rid of the pressure. So if you are a nag and you're scared of them and you're nagging them to do something that they're scared of, they're gonna see you as their ticket out of here. So that's probably how that would go. Now let's demonstrate an overly confident person. So say Stella didn't want to go over the tarp. An overly confident person would, see, I think overly confident people take things because they have an ego about them. Like, everybody has ego, but an overly confident person has a bruised ego that they are always trying to prove, and they are always taking offense. Like, they think everything is personal. They think everything has to be a fight with the horse. Every time the horse says no, or just a minute, or like whenever they hesitate or they don't want to do something quickly like the person wants them to, then they take that as like a challenge, or the horse is being disobedient, or the horse is intentionally ignoring you or intentionally doing the wrong thing. They take everything personally. That upsets them, and they have to make sure that they prove to the horse that they can make them do this if they want to. So if Stella didn't want to go over this tarp, and I was feeling very insecure about that fact, and I was like, my friends are looking, you are intentionally not going over this tarp, I know you know how to go over this tarp, you're going over this tarp. You know what's gonna happen? For one, they're not paying attention to the horse's cues, body language. They're very disconnected from what's going on inside the horse's mind. That causes explosions in horses. But also, overly confident people think that the horse will probably explode, but I can handle it and I'm not afraid of them. So they're basically choosing to fight and cause a battle other than just making it happen without any explosions. Both parties are equally happy. So. We're asking Stella to go over the tarp. She doesn't want to. We put tons of pressure on her. She explodes, pulls away, freaks out. Suddenly she's got a long-term fear of the tarp, and we're just gonna have to fight and make her go over the tarp. Finally, she's probably gonna jump it. She's probably gonna drag it. It's probably gonna freak her out. It's gonna take a long time for that horse to feel confident going over a tarp.
Aggressive, overly confident people don't like to give up control, so they usually use harsher equipment like aggressive bits and tie downs, and they love labeling their horses. Maybe it makes them feel better about not being as good as the next horse trainer or rider by thinking that their horse is just worse than everybody else's horse, and they got unlucky with their horse, that their horse is just a brat and it's always been a brat, or is always a jerk, or is just a big asshole, or something like that. By stamping those labels to their horses, they are now expecting the horse to behave that way and are envisioning that behavior.
So I guess that when an overly confident person is around a horse, it takes a lot longer for the horse to figure out its own confidence, and the horse feels insecure around you too, because you are insecure and you're causing these battles, and the horse has a lot of fears about you. So I guess a confident person, a truly confident person, immediately makes the horse feel confident. Now let's demonstrate a truly confident person going over a tarp with a horse that is the first time seeing it. So pretend like you're scared. Pretend like you're scared. If a truly confident person was taking a horse over a tarp for the first time and the horse was unsure about it, the confident person would be calculating that horse's body language. They'd be making sure that they're not pushing the horse past their comfort zone too much to cause a big reaction, because we want to, when we're training them to new things, we want to make sure that they have a good experience with them. There's no bad memory or scenario where they connect to a certain item like a tarp that will trigger them next time they go to train with a tarp. These rocks are not heavy enough to lay down this tarp, so I need you to stand on it to weigh it down. If a confident person is taking a horse that has never crossed the tarp before, they would stop, let the horse think about it. We want them to feel confident as much as we feel confident. And the reason that we feel confident is because we know we're not putting ourselves and the horse in a situation that could potentially be explosive, dramatic, unpredictable. So basically we just create scenarios for ourselves that we can predict. And if you can predict that if you are going to put a lot of pressure on the horse right now, that they would probably have a big reaction, then let's maybe try a different approach. Maybe go a little bit slower, maybe just walk the horse around it for a while, let them get used to it. Just try something different and not just have to do it one way, this way, and immediately right now, so that it gives the horse more time to get comfortable with it and get confident in themselves, because a well-trained horse is confident and doesn't need their partner to be confident for them, but a confident person makes a confident horse, if that makes any sense. Now that we've gone over what I think is confidence, here are some ways that I think might help to fake confidence, because fake it till you make it. Basically, you just have to train yourself like you would train your horse. You have to give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of time, and don't pressure yourself into something that you are unconfident or scared about doing. I know they always say that you have to do something that scares you every day so that you can get out of your comfort zone, and well, that's I think true to an extent, but you'll never get over having a lot of fear about doing something that scares you, because doing something that scares you doesn't get you over that fear. It's about figuring out how to handle your fear while you are scared. It's, I think, more about the process of figuring out how to handle your fear and what to tell yourself when you're scared to make yourself less afraid for it next time. Because for me personally, I've done a lot of things that scare me, and then next time I go to do them, I'm already scared of being scared, because the fear is the worst part about the whole thing. So for me, doing something that scares me is just going to scare me twice as much next time, unless I figure out how to handle my fear. If you find yourself afraid when you're in the pen with all of the horses, if you find yourself afraid of a certain horse that is kind of bargey or something, maybe you just need a little bit more space. Maybe you don't have to go that close to that horse. Maybe you can watch from 10 feet away, or maybe even from the other side of the fence, and just observe them, because observation is the best way to learn horses' body language and their cues. And honestly, just staying away from the horse that you're scared of is better for that horse's training than to be close to them and scared, because they know you don't have any boundaries. They know they can just run you over. You're just adding that extra fear and tension into the herd that kind of, you may not notice it right away, but your emotions and your feelings are definitely felt by the horses. If you're angry, they know it. If you're happy, they know it. If you're fearful, they know it. They feed off of that energy too. They feed off of your fearful energy and your happy energy and your angry energy. There's even a study done that horses actually get stressed out when they see an angry person, and they relax, chill out when they see a happy person. So just know that if you are afraid, the horses know that energy. They know what you're thinking. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that horses, they communicate with images. They don't obviously use words or languages or those kind of things that we use. They see in images, and they use telepathy with images. And whether or not we know it, they're basically reading our minds. So if we are envisioning a bad thing happening, like a horse running through us, or if we're doing jumping, we're envisioning the horse stopping at that fence. If we're envisioning something bad that we don't want to happen, that's what the horse is seeing. Probably is what's going to happen if you keep playing that in your head and sending that image to them. But if you don't have any doubts in your mind that that horse is going to jump that jump and they are not going to run into you, if you're perfectly confident in believing that you and the horse will be okay and do the right thing, the horse is also going to see those images in your mind. They're going to see that picture of what you want to happen and anticipating and envisioning, and they are also going to feel that confidence.
Not only are we sending images, but we're ready to act on them. They're expecting the horse to stop at the fence, so they're bracing themselves through refusal, and we're already ducking and covering before the horse is even spooked on the ground. Not only are we sending these fearful cues, but we're acting on them, which is basically training the horse to act on our fearful cues. So we're basically telling them to stop at the fence with our body language because we're already bracing for the stop. So how can you expect the horse to ignore your body language and go over the fence when you're basically asking them to stop by bracing yourself for the stop that hasn't even happened yet?
So again, how to fake confidence is to use, it's basically mind control for one. Just always try to think of the best scenario possible and just be hyper aware of your surroundings and your horse's body language and the cues that they're giving you. Obviously, time and experience is the best way to get confidence with horses, but also it can turn into overconfidence because we could have had bad experiences or we could just have our egos bruised. We always like to make it a battle. We like to make it a fight. We always say that I worked her till I won, or those kind of things. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's a relationship. And it goes both ways. We don't have to take things personally. We don't have to get offended if they say no or they want to try it a different way. Maybe the horse wants to learn in a different way that we know how to teach, and maybe we have to learn how to teach differently. Why should the horse have to learn our way, but we don't have to learn how they need to be taught? So yeah, just take your time, observe from the fence until you feel confident enough that you are aware of what horses are somewhat thinking, their body language is, and know how to handle yourself with the ability of not giving off those fear vibes and just be chill, be cool. We're calm, we're cool, we're chill. You know those people that when you meet them, they immediately make you feel comfortable and like you could just say whatever you want and it could sound stupid, but you don't care because this person is cool, they're chill, they're confident. That's the kind of person you want to be for your horse. You want them to be able to confess to you and immediately want to become your friend because we're chill, we're cool, we give off the vibe that we could be friends with anybody. I'm not saying that I'm that person in real life, no, at least with other people. But that's the kind of person that we are trying to be for our horse because that is what makes them feel good. And we're trying to make the horse feel good and confident and cool, calm. So I think I pretty much covered everything that I was thinking about and wanting to talk about. I may have forgotten a few points that I wanted to make. I also said that I was going to be answering a question at the end of all of my videos, but I don't have my phone on me right now, so I can't find a question that one of you guys have asked. But if I remember correctly, I think somebody had asked what my favorite horse breed was, and the answer to that is I don't know. I have not had enough experience with all the different horse breeds to be able to pick my favorite, but I'm sure they're all great and amazing, and I'm excited to be able to start playing with different types of horse breeds and just figure out what the differences are and how they think differently. Obviously, I think Icelandics are super cool. They are full of curiosity and they're very confident in themselves. They're always the brave ones in the herd that are taking the front whenever they're going somewhere new. They walk very fast. Stella keeps up with the big horses, no problem. And obviously, they're just so cute. They have lots of skills and they're very athletic. At least Stella is. Lena, on the other hand, not so athletic. But Stella, she jumps our fences all the time, which are like this high. And she's so smart. She can get out of any pen if she wanted to. I've also had experiences with foxtrotters, Tennessee walkers, and Bashkir curlies. And we had a paint horse that was Arab/draft, we believe. We had a Kentucky mountain horse for a while. So yeah, I haven't had any experiences with like thoroughbreds or even quarter horses, which is funny because they're like the most common horse. But I'll get my experience in and I'll come back to you in a couple years and I'll answer that question. Okay, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big like and subscribe. I post new videos every single Sunday, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week Sunday, so never mind. You can go follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, bye.